Hello, welcome to The Banker. I'm Silvia Pavoni, economics editor, and I'm talking to John Everington, who is the Middle East and Africa editor. John, good to talk to you. You've just written about remittances, not just for the region that you regularly report on, but also more globally.
That's right. Hi, Sylvia. Good to talk to you. Yes, we've been writing about remittances and the impact of the COVID-19 crisis on global remittances to low and middle income countries. That's been the subject, and particularly looking at digitisation and how the crisis is impacting things.
That's an interesting point. So that's obviously that's the cover story of our August edition, and what you mentioned about digitisation is very interesting, because that's a trend that it appears to have definitely intensified during the crisis. But was it replicated, and does it also apply to remittances, which tends to be business that operates cash in hand, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it is a trend that has been going on for a number of years. A number of factors contribute to that. The first is new. I mean, one of those is new entrants, the likes of TransferWise, the likes of Asimo, who've come into a very cash-dominated industry and have been looking to do things digitally, and have really been kind of aggressive in kind of driving down the cost of remittances, certainly in very popular kind of areas and corridors. So that's been one trend. I mean, you've got those digital disruptors, but at the same time, you've also got the take-up of digital money throughout the world, and particularly in the developing world. The use of digital wallets has been increasing across the world, even in some of the world's poorest countries, such as Somalia, Afghanistan, Nepal. It is becoming increasingly popular. So those are two of the trends which feed into the increasing digitization. That being said, it has to be recognized that 80% of the remittances industry, as we understand it and as we know it, is still cash-based. So digitization is increasing, but there's some way to go still.
Now, something else that is very important in remittances, something that you've also mentioned, is cost. So a lot of the competition tends to center around cost, as cost also been an area of focus during the crisis, where I know the flows have reduced, of course, because of the economic consequences of COVID-19.
Yeah, I think it's been an interesting picture within the crisis. I mean, in some areas, again, sort of the figures are starting to just come through this. Anecdotally, we are hearing that some costs have gone up, some costs have gone down. I think as time goes on, I think the expectation is that they will converge, and that we'll see this gradual downward drift in costs that we have been seeing over the past 5 years within the industry and beyond that. So, I mean, costs are going down, and as digitization becomes more popular, then I think, I mean, they will fall further, we feel.
So you've spoken to a number of players in this area, traditional players, new players. Do you think the more will come to the remittances space in the future, or is it going to be it for the time being, because of different pressures that we all under, either in macroeconomic terms or in terms of business and launching new ventures in this area?
It's going to be an interesting one to see, because it is a growing area, and as I was mentioning earlier, the trend of increasing uptake of mobile money across the developing world does lend itself to new entrants coming in to serving some of those markets in a sort of in a more targeted way, perhaps. That being said, on the other side, the crisis is squeezing margins. I mean, some people have done quite well out of this. Some of the digital players have seen volumes increase significantly. Some of the bigger, more cash-based MTOs have seen their volumes fall. And it's going to be, I think, if there are going to be exits from the sector and, I mean, mergers, it is going to be probably some of the smaller players who focus on the more cash side, and also ones that maybe focus on one or two specific corridors, who were kind of just getting by and were just like making not too much money before the crisis, but now things have gotten difficult for them because people are less willing to handle cash. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward whether that's going to be a factor, whether you have some of these smaller kind of shops which rely on cash and rely on maybe one or two corridors. They might find the going tough as the crisis continues.
So quite a lot might happen in the future, and maybe there is going to be a little bit of a narrowing down in terms of focus for some of the players.
Indeed, it could be interesting to see.
Thanks so much, John.
Thank you, Silvia.